Yeah. Yeah. Hello, welcome to Stardom Review. My name is Andre C. I am your co-host, and with me here is my co-host, Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing amazing. What an end to the tournament. I can't wait to get started on talking about this, Andre. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Like you said, it was a great end to me a spectacular tournament throughout. I don't think there was a bad night of wrestling outside of maybe night 20 because there was only two 5-star matches, and I can't fault that. I can't fault the tournament for that. But I had such a great time watching all these women do such a great job with everything that they were doing, and the way it was a long show to cap it off. I will say that, and with the winner mentioning it was a 4-hour show at the end, it wasn't quite as much for us because everything was cut up a little bit. But 13 matches plus the coronation ceremony after the 5-star finals, so it was a big show. It took me a couple days to get through watching it all. Plus, I have to watch it while I'm at work too. So,
I actually was that person who was like very, very organized about watching everything up until yesterday when I realized I was only 3 matches deep into this thing and I had to catch up on the rest of it.
I literally finished the finals match during my lunch break today, and it was a great way to spend my lunch break. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, I mean, that's better than me. I finished the last match 2 hours before we're coming on to do this.
Hey, your memory is going to be very fresh for that match.
It's sharp.
All right, so we are going to get into the final night 21, the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, and we are starting. Ooh, wrong banner. Cut stuff off. All right, here we go. So we are starting with one of my favorites, Sayaka, taking on one of your favorites, Mirai.
Yeah. And what a heavy-hitting match. Did we really expect any less coming from both of these women? Mirai coming in this year and really establishing herself. I mean, she came in like a quiet riot is what I describe her as.
Very much so.
Opposite of Thekla, who's just loud and out there and the high speed kind of person. She was kind of the smiley one who was just sitting there like, hey, I'm powerhouse. How are you? And
yeah, but one good comment. If you notice with the names of this show, I have put the point totals where they're at on the final night. So in this night, to this match, neither woman can technically win this match or win this tournament by winning this match because Mirai would only get to 15, which ties Giulia's current point total of 15. Even if Giulia loses, she is facing Suzu. If she does lose, she's facing Suzuki, who's at 14 and would get the win. If they did a draw, Giulia would move to 16 points. So both of these women are not eligible to win, but it was still a good match throughout. And like Sayaka getting to really work with a veteran like Mirai, I think both women it was again, like you said, a very hard hitting affair.
In the end, though, Mirai was able to submit Iida with that funky little submission thing. You're better with the names, man.
I don't honestly know the name of this one, but it's kind of like a half surfboard. Like she doesn't have like all, but it's like she's pulling with the one arm and the one leg, and with kind of like the knee in the back and like pulling back. So it's like a half surfboard. And yeah, it was quite a good match. Mirai does end up with 15 points, but again, only ties Giulia, who does have a match later on. The worst she can do is not point, but then her opponent would actually get to 16. So Mirai is mathematically eliminated from this match because, as was determined, countouts it's considered a draw, so both person get points. And so it's going. Mirai, sadly, even though she had a wonderful match here, getting the win is eliminated.
Mm-hmm. But what an opportunity for her, being this is her first tournament, coming out of the gates and coming up to tie with the finalists. Like,
yeah, with
Hayo.
15 points is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Like, that's a real that is a really great position. You're one of the top finishers. I think actually the second place finisher by the end of the night. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the second place finisher, I think, or third. One of the two. I will let you know as we move on. But yeah, she placed very high for her first tournament. But again, Mirai is a very experienced professional wrestler, though. That is the other thing. So her experience has really carried her in this. But yeah, did not get a chance to win this one out. We are moving on to the second match of the evening. It is Natsupoi taking on Mina Shirakawa. And again, Natsupoi with 12, Mina with 8. Your minimum number you would need to be in a contender would be 14 points coming into the night. And neither of these women were able to point up the right thing. But this match actually was very, very enjoyable, in my opinion. Both, again, Battle of the Cosmic Angels. So, like, teammate versus teammate, I really thought, great job. Again, like, Mina Shirakawa, she just zeroes in on people's knees, man. Like, just wrecks them for that finisher she has of the figure 4. And Nat, really, you could see it towards the end of this match, just really limping on that knee. Like it was really being worked over. But again, Natsupoi with just such a beautiful moveset, in my opinion. We talked about her on the last episode. That's her kneeling spin kick. I've never seen anybody do a kick quite as well performed as that one is, with the theatrics to it, and then the kick itself is usually pretty dang hard. But just both these women just killing each other. But Mina Shirakawa, loving that dragon screw leg whip in this one too. Really dialing up that Tanahashi, I would say, and really working that knee, because she got a dragon screw off the top rope, and then followed up with another before applying the figure 4 leg lock. And Natsupoi had nowhere to go, and she had to tap out, and she did lose this match. So Natsupoi does end the tournament with 12 points. Great showing. Don't get me wrong. 12 points is a great showing. That means you got 6 wins. That is a great place to be. And Mina Shirakawa with 10, meaning 5 wins for her. Again, nothing to sneeze at. You can't get mad at somebody for that many wins. Not everybody can win in this tournament. It happens. People are going to lose. But yeah, I thought wonderful match from the two of them.
I have to agree. Everything you said there. This match was very much so. I felt very personal from start to finish. I definitely felt a more sense of urgency out of Mina than I did of Natsupoi in regards to wanting to win, based on obviously her working and getting that leg targeted and stuff like that. But I think she knew, like we obviously knew, that both of them were already mathematically eliminated going into this night, and neither one of them could change that. I think what Mina did in this situation was turn her attention to what it is that Natsupoi has that she does not, which is the Goddess of Stardom Championship with Tam Nakano. I think that this opportunity, this win over Natsupoi, sets her and potentially Unagi, Sayaka, up for a potential further rivalry, potentially with her and again Sayaka against Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, chasing the Goddess of Stardom Champions. I wouldn't be mad about that.
But to the point, actually, I know I read it on Twitter. Mina Shirakawa has said she is determined to make her way into going after that World of Stardom, the World of Stardom Championship. She has made intentions that she plans. One of her intentions is to become the leader of Cosmic Angels. Is another thing she said in the same statement. She wants to take the leadership, and she wants to be the champion soon. So, I
mean, Tam Nakano, obviously one of my favorites, and obviously one of yours as well. But like, from when I've started watching, and at the end of December of last year, you have seen, like I had mentioned with Mai Sakurai was a part of the Cosmic Angels. There was no growth. There was no development. Her ability did not get any better. I actually personally thought that she was actually getting worse. Her switch up to join Donna Del Mondo was an incredible turnabout. And look at how positively we have talked about her. That being said, is that maybe speaking to that there is a lack of leadership happening within the Cosmic Angels that maybe needs to be reevaluated. I don't know how long Tam Nakano has been the leader of the Cosmic Angels, so maybe it is time for a bit of a switch up. With her focusing so much on Natsupoi right now, she might not have the time to focus on the other Cosmic Angels. So maybe it would be a good opportunity for them to kind of throw that wrench into there.
Yeah, it's and I can see it being like I know every year they have points where they draft people from other teams and you leave your team. So like, could this be a position in a way for her to put Mina to push Tam out as a possibility?
Oh, new faction.
Yeah, no, push Tom out to another team, and then if she can get Tom to be drafted to another team, could she be the one to take that position? That is another question, because she says she wants to be the leader. So it
could be. You never know.
And as I look at the Cosmic Angels team, it shows Tam Nakano, Mina Shirakawa, and Nagi Sayaka as 3 founding members back in November 14th of 2020, and it shows her as the leader. It doesn't show anybody else with the leader mark at any point. So I think Tam Nakano's been the leader the entire time.
Interesting.
So we might see some upheaval in Cosmic Angels, or could result in maybe Mina Shirakawa leaving the Cosmic Angels if she can't take the leadership. That's another possibility too.
I mean, I know some couple places here that would definitely like to hire her if she's looking to do a North American tour.
Or just headed to another team. Like maybe she might have success with another team. Maybe she joins an outside faction like Prominence and goes like as almost independent. You never know. It could be anything. There's many possibilities what can go forward with Mina Shirakawa and Cosmic Angels themselves. So
all I know is that I have a lot of faith in their creative department. So whatever it is that they're planning, give it to us. We're good. We're ready for it.
Please. So we are moving on to the next match of the evening. It is Hazuki taking on Momo Watanabe. And like I said, the magic number is 14. You have to have at least 14 points tonight in your matches to have a shot at taking the crown, at least in the Blue Stars block. The Red Stars is a whole nother craziness. But yeah, in the Blue Stars block, so Hazuki does have a shot at taking the lead in the Blue Stars block in this match, taking on Momo Watanabe. The one thing from Hazuki is she went 7 straight in the beginning. Then she dropped 5 matches in a row.
Yeah.
There's 14 people per block, right?
Correct.
Something like that. And so that means you wrestle 13 total matches. She's dropped 5 total matches in a row. That she's on a losing streak. And going against someone like Momo Watanabe, who is brutal in her own right in the style she works and who she has backing her up. So yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, like this match kind of started out the way I expected. The jump start from Oedo Tai, the House of Torture and 6. Yeah, like wherever Momo, wherever Starlight Kid, wherever Kashima Saki is involved, it's very obvious that Oedo Tai is kind of going to be waiting in the rafters.
They're always in the wings. They're always in the
They're
wings.
always there. I was concerned at the beginning of this match. It did seem like the beatdown at the beginning there did go quite long. Hazuki did come back with authority, though. Very
for sure.
Yeah, very, very quickly. There is a move that she does that I always forget the move, and it's very simple. I feel very stupid for always forgetting it. Samoa Joe has made it very popular, the one where you jump and you just land on your back on the person.
Senton.
Senton, okay.
The Colton Kelly special, come on.
Yes, I was going to say, I'm like, Colton Kelly also does it.
Yeah.
Jonah,
wonderful local professional wrestler here in the Edmonton area.
Yes, go check out Colton Kelly. He is just amazing. But that being said, Suzuki had one of those off the top rope. Again, House of Torture shit, doing House of Torture stuff. Momo, I think, was able to do a finisher, but was not able to initially capitalize on that initial finisher. Then she actually had to
Hazuki too.
Yeah, then they got the chair involved, and she did her finisher to Hazuki on the chair, and then the chair got removed. The ref was released from his timeout in the corner with Rina, and another finisher was fed to Hazuki, resulting in unfortunately Momo Watanabe receiving those last 2 points to bring her to 12. This match, it wasn't as torturous as the usual Oedo Tai matches.
I didn't enjoy it as much. Like last episode, I actually featured as my pick a Momo Watanabe match, which had far less interference from Oedo Tai. It was maybe the initial stuff on top and a couple small little things. This was littered with Oedo Tai fingerprints all over this match. Like the chair getting involved, then pull the ref out. I was reading it once they pulled the ref out, because that was the big spot for Hazuki hitting 2 Michinoku drivers in a row, then a brainbuster. Her two finishers, a brainbuster and the Michinoku driver. I was like, she's not going to win this, is she? And then, like, the numbers game and the cheating game came into effect. Momo getting her Peach Sunrise, that half Nelson driver, and sadly for Hazuki, with going 7 straight off the top, and then having 6 straight losses. I remember us talking about it after when we did from the first 12 nights, when we were talking about those matches. After those first 12, we were like sure Hazuki was going to win the block, and to see her stalled out at 14 points after getting those 14 in the first 7 matches, it really hurts. And to see it happen this way, in the fact that Oedo Tai cheated her out of 16 points, and that a really good chance of taking the block. It hurt. It really did, because I think so if Giulia would have had a draw or if she would have a draw in her match coming up after, and Hazuki had won, they would have tied at 16. Hazuki beat Giulia in her first 7 matches there, so she would have had the tiebreaker victory over Giulia, which would have given her a berth into the finals if that was the case. If she had gotten 16 and Giulia got a draw, but not to be. It was Hazuki getting screwed out of the Blue Stars win. What was that?
She was, for me, the Cinderella story kind of coming into this, because I knew she was dominant. She was I think they were the Goddesses Stardom champions, her and Koguma, when they first when this
champion on top of it all.
Yeah, and to she picked up some very dominant wins at the beginning. I definitely feel like she was definitely given the short end of the stick at the last part of this. But at the same time, I also don't feel it takes away from her at all. Because she is going to continue to come out here and show up every night.
I think getting the 14 points and having the performances she did in the first half of the tournament, and then the performances she had in the back half of the tournament where she was losing, and I think one of them losses was to Sayaka Kamitani, the current Wonder of Stardom champion. You can't not say she is a top star. She's at least a Wonder of Stardom championship contender at this point.
100%.
I think she has to be considered in there, if not into the world of Stardom championship, the red belt at some point soon. She's definitely in contention. She has to be in contention for the white belt at least. At least.
I agree.
So from here, we are going to move on to our next match in the evening. It is Sayaka Kamitani, the current Wonder of Stardom champion, the white belt holder, taking on Emi Sohrei. But again, like I said, the magic number is 14, and both these women can't get past 15 points. Sad to say, especially with Sayaka Kamitani having a wonderful tournament as she has had.
Yeah, she had a very interesting tournament. It was kind of like an up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down for her. She kind of would take a win, take a loss, take a win, take a loss. That's usually what I expect out of the regular kind of like participants in something like this. This match in particular, I noticed Ami right away tried to be very dominant very quickly. Tried to put down Kamitani and pin her and like just hit her as hard as she could very, very quickly. I almost felt like she was trying to end the match as quickly as possible so that she didn't have to contend with Kamitani. But that being said, I mean, Kamitani.
But anytime you're in the ring with a champion, you want to get that win as fast as possible because you want a win. So that 100%. Means you have a win over a champion, and it just gives her a better positioning coming out at the end with more points, looking better too. So her going for that quickly. But again, there was a lot of reverses in this. But I gotta say, as much as I am impressed by Sayaka Kamitani, I've noticed some sloppy stuff from her over the tournament. And but as good as she is, again, not everybody can get sloppy, but I've seen more than I think I should with someone on her level. But like, I still think she's a wonderful talent and she's doing great. And I don't see anything bad coming to her. But when you see sloppy things every couple of matches from such a high end player in a company, it's like, maybe. But yeah, I thought it was a very good match from both these women. And there was a big brawl on the floor at the end where they fought up the ramp, and was it Ami getting the Green Bay plunge on the ramp, and they both crawl and fight to get back, but neither makes it. So it ends up with a count out draw. Both women getting 1 point. Sayaka Kamitani finishes with the magic number of 14, but that's her finish number, so she cannot win it. Nor can Emi Sohrei, who finishes it with 11 points.
Yeah. But what a fun match that they had. I mean, I did appreciate the double count out. It did break up everything because, I appreciate having the submissions and the pins, but every once in a while I like to have that chaos or that ending that's like, oh no, what happened, you guys? And I felt like this was one of them, and I wasn't mad about it. I felt it was a very appropriate end, and I felt that it actually added to the entertainment of the night.
Oh, very much so. It wasn't a super long match either, which I think was a great breakup. And the fact that they did the count it was different, so people were looking at it differently, seeing something different happen. And it's just, again, very disappointed that Sayaka Kamitani can't make it. But again, was already mathematically eliminated before going into the night because did not have a match number of 14. But we move on to the next match of the evening, and it is, where's my button? There it is. It is Mayu Iwatani taking on Starlight Kid. Again, in this position, Mayu is not cannot make it. But Starlight Kid does have a win over Giulia. So if Starlight Kid can win and Giulia can only get a draw, Starlight Kid will have the tiebreaker victory over Giulia and can move on to the final match of the night. And honestly, I thought this was a banger of a match from both these ladies.
100%. I really like how both of these women play their characters. Mayu Iwatani, I mean, I've said before, she does have this reckless disregard for herself. And I don't know if you noticed it, but her legs very much so showing the her. I'm going to assume her little stair trip the night before.
Yeah, there's a
big bruises.
Well, that would have been what, about 4 or 5 days before, because it happened on the 25th. This was on October 1st, but even then, you could still see some bruises on her.
Yeah, huge bruises on her legs there. Yeah, they were. But that being said, you could see Starlight Kid at the beginning of the match trying to pull some bullshit is what she was trying to pull, trying to shake Mayu Iwatani's hand. Mayu Iwatani obviously untrusting. And these girls were not a part of a faction known for their kosherness.
But you gotta remember, Saki Kashima tries to do it every time. And she cheats every time somebody shakes her hand. So why would you trust Starlight Kid?
Exactly. What I did appreciate right after that, though, was the little chop battle that they had back and forth, both of them being known for their chops, but Starlight Kid really getting pissed off at Mayu and just chopping her so rapidly that Mayu couldn't actually respond. And she actually ended up getting chopped down to the ground before Starlight Kid fed her that last double chop, knocking her clearly and flatly to the ground. There was one move that Mayu did in particular that I thought was just absolutely incredible. It was a submission style move that almost looked like a skull end, but she was standing and Starlight Kid's feet were on opposite sides of her hips, and Mayu was standing in kind of.
It was a standing dragon sleeper.
Okay, yeah.
If you have somebody on the other mat, you grab them and pull them back, which is essentially the cold skull. It's a dragon sleeper. This is one she just has the legs propped up on her legs and is pulling back, and that's essentially a standing dragon sleeper. I do have that right now.
Utterly incredible. Like seeing her get into that, I was like, what in the Sam heck is this? Besides amazing. I honestly thought she had her at that point. I don't know how you escape from something like that, but Starlight Kid did kind of figure out her way. Of course, there was obviously some House of tortureness happening in there. Not nearly.
Yeah, the Oedo tie of it all.
Yeah, but this one I did feel that it wasn't terribly as much as usual, which was a blessing.
It wasn't. It wasn't what the Hazuki and Momo Watanabe match was. Not even close.
Exactly. I don't think we could have handled two of those in one night, to be honest.
And I think, and with that point is they're not like. You don't need, like, it's the cheating's from a different point, because like Momo was trying to screw up Hazuki's tournament, where Starlight Kid needs this win, so the cheating has to be to a point where it's doing something completely to benefit Starlight Kid. It can't be just stuff to screw with Mayu, because that could backfire on Starlight Kid. So you need to make sure it's something that sets your person ahead, so you can't cheat to the same degree when you need your person to come out in winning in the end, but in the right way. Because a draw would have screwed them up, wouldn't put her in, but she needed the flat out win.
Yeah. Luckily for us, though, she didn't get it, and Mayu was able to pin Starlight Kid
with a beautiful bridging dragon suplex.
Beautiful end to that match. Couldn't have happened to a better girl.
So in the end, Mayu Iwatani ends with 15 points again. So yeah, tied for that second spot. But yeah, it's you look at it and you go, wow, what, like, this, the amount of stuff we've had in this tournament is just purely impressive. Just so impressive. It's you really look at the one person out of this entire company that I was regularly familiar with coming into watching Stardom with you was Mayu Iwatani, because of her time in Ring of Honor. I was a fan of her there. She was the Women of Honor champion. So she was one of the few people I actually knew, and boy howdy has she's been very good in this. But I have been so impressed with Starlight Kid. Like, there's been a couple where I was like, but I can see why there's the fandom for Starlight Kid that there is.
100%, yeah.
So from here, we are moving on to the final match in the Blue Stars. It all comes down to this match in the Blue Stars block. It is Giulia with 15 points, taking on Suzuki with 14 points. Like I said, the magic number was 14, and you had to have a win over Giulia with that magic number, which a couple people did. It all comes down to this. Suzuki can win, she wins the Blue Stars block. If Giulia can get a draw or win, she wins the Blue Stars block. No matter what, Giulia just can't lose. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. And what a match we had. This match, aggressive from start to finish, fighting for that top spot. These women knew what was at stake, and they were letting us have every little bit of it. There was we talked about this move yesterday when we saw local favorite do it to a certain young guy. What is it called, Andre?
I don't remember what you're talking about.
The sliding German.
Oh, through the rope? I got into the rope?
Yes. I call it Ichimori. We saw nasty.
Yeah, it's essentially it's just a sliding German through the ropes, and just a nasty looking German, man. Because some people land on the top of their head. If they land on the top of their head, coming off the second rope and falling backwards. It's just But yeah, it's just such a brutal match between these two. Like the kicks, the punches, the forearms. Like holy crap, the headbutts. Like Giulia likes to headbutt people, but so does Suzu.
Yeah, she cackles about it, just like Minoru. She cackles about it.
She hits her finisher, the tequila shot at one point, only gets a 2. Like that's it. Let's finish matches for her in this tournament. Like goes for the Suzu gets the rolling chaos theory. What she won her last match with the match was at night 19, and that Giulia kicks out of. That's a finish for her. That's finished matches for her. It's crazy. Giulia hitting her Falcon Arrow, hitting multiple of her finishers, and still can't get it. I think she hit her hammerlock driver, or the ape shit, and still couldn't finish. It was such a big. I think this might have been, if it wasn't for the main event, match of the night.
100%.
And it ended in a 15-minute draw because, again, all matches, tournament matches, are contested on 15-minute time limits. And, again, all Giulia needed to do was survive. And she did. She got her 1 point. So it ends with Giulia at 16 points atop the Blue Stars block, with Suzuki taking 15 points. And I have to give a huge shout-out to Suzuki at 20 years old, being tied for second place in the Blue Stars block is no small feat.
No, especially for your first tournament, your first time in the tournament. If this is what she's capable of doing in her first round, imagine what she's going to do next year.
Like we said on the last episode, if she intends to be full-time with Stardom, because again, she's with Prominence, which is an outside faction, and I don't know if she is if she's working freelance with Stardom or not. I don't know that kind of stuff. It's just contract-wise, which a lot of girls do work freelance for Stardom. If she decides to make this her home promotion, I think the sky is the limit for Suzuki to be the next big star for Stardom.
I have to agree with you. I have been very high on this girl since I first saw her. And I actually managed to hop on with our good friend Carl at one point. And the first thing he asked me is, who do you recommend in Stardom? Suzuki was the first person that came to my mind on who everybody should definitely check out. I 100% agree with you. If this is just the beginning for her, and I hope it is, sky really is the limit for her.
Very much so. And it like I said, you have. I just gotta pull the tab up. Give me 1 second. I just want to go over the numbers for the blue block, the Blue Stars block. I forgot that I closed the tab, not realizing it, but I have it literally. No, look, put the number there. I'm using a new keyboard today. And it's shaped all weird, so it's screwing me up. Here we go. I'm sorry for the dead air, ladies and gentlemen, but yeah. So just to go over the final standings for Blue Stars, you have again, like I said, Giulia winning the Blue Stars block with 16 points.
16, yeah.
Then you have Mirai, Mayu Iwatani, and the young first time around 20-year-old Suzuki with 15 points. That is huge. Like to sit us like again, Mirai, you said I think was her first tournament too. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Again,
yeah.
Those two people with the first tournament, and then Hazuki sad end back into her tournament, but she's sitting there at 14 points along with Sayaka Kamitani, Starlight Kid. That is a great place for Hazuki to be again, younger, and will move up in this company. And then Natsupoi and Momo Watanabe with 12 points, Amy Sohrei with 11, Mina Shirakawa with 10, and then Saya Iida and Hanan with 4 points. Again, and no fault to their 4 points. Again, very young, and so there's always in every tournament, and I know this from watching the G1 every year, some people just have to lose. And it happens every single year. There's always people that take a majority of losses, but they only build up from there. Simple as that. These girls are going to build up, and they're going to have better showing next year. That's a simple 100%. Fact.
That is a simple fact.
Yeah. So from here, we are going to move on to the Red Stars side of the final night of this tournament. Again, I didn't realize it was all blue and then all red, but when I saw that, I'm like, oh, interesting.
That makes sense.
Again, it's to tell a certain story. You want to tell the Blue Stars story, then you're going to tell the Red Stars story, and then you're going to give us the finals. But we did get Mel went away. I hit the wrong button. I'm not good at this. I'm really not. Momo Kohgo taking on Unagi Sayaka. And Sayaka Unagi was the big surprise for me in this tournament. And the fact that on the final night has only won one match.
And look at the attitude she's been having for it too.
Yeah, and then Momo Kohgo with 4, again, very young in her career. She's in that position where, and both these girls in that position where somebody has to take the losses in a tournament like this, and it is these two, Momo being very young, Unagi Sayaka. I have no idea why she's taking these losses, but I think she should have been far more featured in this tournament. But all together said, I thought I really quite had a good time with this match. Again, I'm a big fan of Unagi Sayaka, and Momo Kohgo from night one of this tournament really impressed me. Like, I love her style, the 619, the springboard drop kick. I love her. I just really do. Then Unagi Sayaka with her very wild style. I very much like that in the fact that she does like the jumping leg drop, just some wild style of moving. I quite like it. Unagi did hit the Jeff Jarrett special, the stroke, and then followed it by a kick to the head, and then a DDT, but only got a 2 count out of it. Like, just some of the moves these girls were doing, it's just crazy. But in the end, it was Unagi Sayaka with a butterfly like she had her in a one arm had the butterfly, had the arms butterflied, and then hooked her leg and picked her up and brought her down with a driver. So it was like a butterfly fisherman's driver, I want to call it. I don't actually know what it's called, but it was a very interesting move in the way that it was applied and executed. And Unagi Sayaka getting 4 points, going up to 4 points. But I did read that she made an announcement that she is leaving Stardom because of her the reason she's given is because of such a poor performance in this 5-star Grand Prix. She is leaving Stardom to move on and be a freelancer and work at other companies.
Hey, I mean, that could be very, very good for her. As I'd mentioned in past videos, I'm very much a fan of her in-ring ability, but I didn't feel that her attitude really fit well with the Cosmic Angel faction. So, with that's interesting, because with Mina talking about wanting to take over the Cosmic Angels, and then Sayaka being kind of like her main kind of bestie in that, it would be interesting. I personally think that Unagi has nothing but things to gain by traveling and getting experience elsewhere. So good luck to her. I hope it works out, and I hope we see her a little bit more in all these other places.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see like where she goes. I'm looking forward to following her wherever she goes, because I after watching all this tournament Stardom, I really want to start diving into more of the Joshi Pro companies in Japan. Like I already watched New Japan, I watched some Noah, I catch a little bit of All Japan when I can, but like again, Stardom's the only women's company I've watched, so I like to look at some Tokyo Joshi Pro, see some other stuff, and see some Wave. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have special interest in wanting to see Noah, because my favorite Bread Club leader ended up at holding titles there. I don't suspect he's going to be coming back to me anytime soon in New Japan, so... Yeah, like you said, I think that she has nothing but positivity to gain from that. So I definitely hope that we see her a little bit more popping up. And hey, maybe she could also do a North American tour and pop up in AEW.
It's very, very possible, and maybe even an Impact or an MLW too. Like it's very possible. But we are going to move on to the next match in the Red Stars block. It is Azumi taking on Saki Kashima, and especially in this block, 14 points. You have, I think, going into the night, I want to open up a thing I didn't bring up in the last show we did. There it is. I think you had 6 people at 14 points. So in this show, you really have to look at who, like, there's a lot of parts of tiebreakers are involved very much in this one. You really have to see, where the heck is that picture? It's in that one. Okay. Where was it? I'm not going to pull it up on the screen because it's going to have to load it in, and it's just a big old pain in the butt for me to do this. But like at the end of the Red Stars night, it was on the final of the tournament nights. You had Utami Hayashishita with 14, Azumi with 14, Tam Nakano with 14, Maika with 14, Himeka with 14, Syuri with 14, and Risa Sera was 13. Now, the Risa Sera one at 13, unless there was, I think there was a 14 versus 14 match, so no matter what, Risa Sera couldn't, I think, get the actual victory in this. But man, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people and a potential 7th who is right there with them, being in line to win this, it's all this block especially came down to the tiebreakers. It was all about who, if the multiple people end up at certain places, it would have been the tiebreakers, and it would have been just a crazy way to figure it all out. But it didn't come down that way because this match happened, and
it did.
It was really fast. It wasn't even a minute. Azumi had, like, the gear she was wearing, it had glowing green on it. I loved it. But Saki wants a handshake, and then Azumi got her in a crucifix, but then Kashima flipped it into a roll up, and then was it Kashima got it into a crucifix of her after they were scrambling around trying to get pins on each other. Kashima got a crucifix and pinned Azumi in less than a minute.
Yeah.
This was, again, this is very much the Zack Sabre Jr. and Naito match from one of the final nights of the G1. it breaks up the monotony of it too, and it's like just quick, like out of nowhere. And I think this win benefits Saki Kashima so much.
Oh yeah,
because she got a win over, for one, the high speed champion. So, in my opinion, she should get a shot at that belt. And two, she looked impressive doing it so quickly.
Especially over how her tournament has really kind of gone. Like, she is setting at 10 points, but she did take some pretty big losses as well. That being said, I mean, Azumi is one of my favorites. This match hurt me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but you're absolutely right. It was something that actually it broke up the rest of the night. It still made Azumi look hella strong coming out of it. She's still the champion, sitting at 14 points. But you're right. It does kind of set up Kashima for an opportunity at the title, as well as anybody else who did get a win over Azumi. They do like in Stardom, as opposed to New Japan. They do like their like fatal four ways, their triple threats, their those kinds of matches. So I wouldn't be objective to seeing another triple threat or a fatal four-way for the high-speed title. And I would love to see it with Thekla getting back into the ring.
She should be coming back in the next little bit too. So again, she got pulled out due to injury for the tournament, but it's been a couple months. So I think she has a shot at returning in the next little bit, unless it was a more major injury. I didn't think it was too big of an injury, but enough that she couldn't work the tournament. But I don't think it's a major going to keep her out for a year injury. So
I have been snooping her Twitter. I have been noticing she's posting a little bit more pictures with her DDM faction members. So here's hoping she's back in Japan and training and feeling better and ready to come back to us and perform for us.
Yeah. So from here, we move on to the next match in the red block. Again, this is another match where the 14 points matters to Utami Hayashishita, the former red belt champion, the former World of Stardom champion, has a shot at taking this tournament. She faces off with the former Goddess of Stardom champion, Koguma. Again, the person who I thought was such the Yano goof. Then I watched her in that tag team title match, and I went, okay, she is not a goof. She knows when to turn on. And she did even here, even in this match. She knew when to turn on. Yeah, she did her goofy stuff. But there was one part at the start, I think it's Utami did the bear pose. She did the I laughed so hard when Utami started doing the bear pose. Oh my God. I was like, she did the comedy. She did the comedy the other night too, when she was with her. She was singing.
Yes,
and now she's doing the bear. Now she's doing the bear pose. I'm like, I was just laughing so hard. I'm like, okay, this woman does have a heart.
And this is why Hayashishita is one of my favorite. I actually claim she is my favorite female wrestler right now, in active kind of wrestling, I guess to say. Yeah. She, to me, can really do no wrong. She comes out, she looks like a wrestler. She acts like a wrestler. She wrestles like a wrestler. But then she can also make her opponents have matches that are so great and so incredible, regardless of their skill level, her skill level. She can turn on that goofy factor when she wants to. She can turn on that serious factor, and it's still Utami Hayashishita. This match, again, I popped when she did the ears too. I couldn't not. This match was a great match for both of them. I felt overall this was actually a very great showing for Koguma, who up until this point, I feel she has been performing consistently and well, but she hasn't had something really that people have been continually to talk about. And I feel that Utami was definitely elevating her a little bit in this
very much so,
to get her to that point to be like, hey, you remember her? She's still a threat. She's still a thing.
Yeah, like there was a beautiful, she was Koguma up on the top rope and hit a beautiful splash to the floor on Utami. Like, just it's just some of the stuff they're doing. It's kind of insane in some of it, but like Koguma looked really good and played to Utami's part so well. And I didn't ever think that I never thought Koguma was gonna get the win in here, and I thought this was either gonna go draw or it was gonna come down to tiebreakers. But Koguma reversing the hijack bomb into a code red and getting the pin. It blew me away the way they ended it. I was just like, it came for me, it's gonna sound stupid, out of nowhere. And I was just like, yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me that ending. And it, again, elevates Koguma to a level. Like we'll talk about when we get to the end of the wrestlers. I will tell you, she's got 14 points, same as the former World of Stardom champion. That is a great level to be at. So
100%. 100%. And then right after that pin, we were treated to another return.
This is where I got really confused.
So we saw the return of another Grim Reaper that not related to the Reaper Army mentioned in the show before. Who I personally thought when she was coming down that they were going to confront Koguma. This was not the case. Koguma was not the important factor in here. This was pretty much a confrontation for Utami Hayashishita. When Hayashishita does, shove and unmask the Grim Reaper, we do find that it is a return of Natsuko Tora, who is the leader of Oedo Tai. She was
no idea who it was even after the deal. I was like, who is this? Like,
that is the leader. I call her the Doki of Oedo Tai because she usually is running around with a pipe.
So she's terrible. So she's terrible, right? She's terrible.
I haven't seen her wrestle because when I first started panic. She was actually out with a torn ACL. So she has been out of ring action for quite some time.
That's what it was referred to in the promo that I was reading, like the subtitles. Yeah, she was out for a while, and then she makes fun of Utami's 7-5 record. But I'm like, how can you make fun of a 7-5 record? Like, because that's a good record.
She, as you mentioned, she did cut the promo on Hayashishita, making reference to her being out for a bit. At the time, I believe Hayashishita was actually the world champion, and that Tora was actually to be challenging Hayashishita when she got injured. And I believe the promise that was made that was Hayashishita would hold on to the belt until Tora came back.
Promise and
but it's like, girl, you took a year. Like, heal faster. I don't know. But in that case, it does sound like Tora has come back, but not to necessarily challenge for the belt right away, but to maybe challenge the person who had the belt when she had it. Maybe it's a kind of a blood
building block
that they have. Yeah, but it's definitely going to be a stepping stone for her to go in there to be like, okay, look, I beat a former champion. Now who else can I beat? Because to me, like, I haven't seen Natsuko Tora in ring. So I don't know what it is that she's capable of. I don't know what it is that her style is. So, maybe this will be a good build for her to get towards that red belt title shot eventually. Otherwise, I mean, that being said, Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest, they do have some history, especially losing Momo Watanabe to Oedo Tai most recently. So, that being said, I think that there's going to be a lot of passion in this feud. I think there's going to be a lot of emotional charge. And I actually am really looking forward to how they're going to take it into the future.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, I don't know really anything about this lady, I'm sorry to say, but I look forward to seeing what's coming because, again, it's obviously the next program for Hayashishita. So,
and of course, to me, she can really do no wrong. It's going to be a banger.
So from here, we move on to the next match in the Red Stars, the third last match of the tournament side, and it is Tam Nakano taking on Saki. This this match was so good. Like, so good. I got notes after notes after notes.
Tell us about it, Andre.
Oh, like just overall, just these girls just killed it. Like, from the hop, they were just going from the hop. Tom literally goes up to the top rope for a crossbody, and she misses, and then Saki just runs at her, just smokes her with a big boot. And this is like just a couple minutes in, but like just the forearm exchanges from both these girls, like especially with how small Tom is, the power that she has in her forearms is crazy, just crazy. Just like buzzsaw. It's like she hit a beautiful buzzsaw kick, but from Tom, and then picks up a Falcon Arrow driver, and that was the finish to the match. Like, holy crap! Like that, just a kick to the face, that like the jury style buzzsaw kick. I was like, oh, I thought you could get the pin right there, but then she picked her up and hit the Falcon Arrow driver to get the win. But like, holy crap, great match from both these women. And Tam Nakano moves to 16 points. Like I said, 14 is the magic number, and you better have a tiebreaker over anybody else that gets to that 16 if they get there. And yeah, Tam Nakano is 16, the first person to 16 in the Red Stars, and there's still 2 matches to go in the block. So with the potential for more people to get to 16 with her, there's at least 3 more people that can get to that point, possibly after her. So that's the thing. What are your thoughts on this match?
I really enjoyed this match. I felt it was another faction versus faction, Cosmic Angels versus Colors, as Colors is the sub faction of Cosmic Angels.
The Colors Angels, come on.
Yeah, the Colors. I would almost say the reluctant participants of the Cosmic Angels. They don't always seem particularly happy to be there, but you know, when you have your partner sealing your bikini tops, I can understand you would be a little unsatisfied with that. Yeah, I definitely felt that this match was very, very hard fought, very, very emotional, and it was so nice to see the show of respect between these 2 women after the match, you know, having their little private moment where you can tell they're just thanking each other and expressing the gratitude for an incredible match. These very girls, and especially the Cosmic Angel girls, I'm noticing, minus Unagi Sayaka, very, very humble and very, very emotional when it comes to their wins and their losses. Nakano, obviously very excited that she won, but you could still see the emotion in her and on her after the match as they did go to the back. I really, really enjoyed this match. And again, it did set up Nakano to that 16 points.
Yeah, and again, but like still to come is Himeka at 14. You have Maika at 14, and you have Syuri at 14. 3 potential, and you have Himeka taking on Maika,
her tag partner.
So you got 2 people that could possibly take a win. If either one takes a win, they will tie with Tam Nakano. And I gotta check one thing. Sorry, don't mean to be weird, but okay. I'm always weird. But yeah, so with the next match being Himeka versus Maika, Tam Nakano, Himeka, and sorry, I apologize about this. I'm just trying to check. So Tam actually beat Maika, so Maika cannot, and nor can Himeka. So actually, they're 14. Even if they get to 16 here, they Tam has the tiebreaker win over both of them. So actually, this next match of Himeka and Himeka and Maika is pretty much more or less just for point rights and see where they can land to position themselves at the end. But boy howdy, was this a banger.
This was, I think, another slobber knocker, my friend. These girls were hitting each other. You wouldn't even know that they were tag team partners at this point.
No.
They were just...
No, you wouldn't.
No, not even a little. They were just going hard at them. That was literally the only thing I wrote was, man, these girls kicked the crap out of each other.
Just like they went to the floor, and there's just, I wrote it here, the forearm exchanges, then just running each other in the post, and it's just there, and then Himeka hitting a backdrop suplex on the floor. It's just like it's just, and again, like I have a crap ton of notes here.
Come to us.
Yeah, and again, I wrote all of these notes at my work when I'm on my break. So just know that. I'm having trouble reading my writing. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, the clotheslines, like Himeka with a beautiful clothesline, then hitting a sliding D for 2. Like, the genius of the sliding D. Can't. Tomohiro Ishii special, baby. Himeka getting the KOD, like her finisher, like the torture rack into the slam onto your face. Only gets a 2. She's won multiple matches in this tournament with that move, and it only got a 2. But like, Maika got a delayed superplex. She lifts her up, and she's just holding her there while standing on the second rope. And delayed superplex to the ring. Rainmaker from Himeka, beautiful Rainmaker, like Rainmaker. But just the Maika getting her power slam into the sidewalk slam. Again, another move she has won multiple matches in this tournament with. Only gets a 2. Like, just everything they're doing was crazy. And then both women hit they come at each other and just both connect with like a forearm or a punch. I don't know exactly what it was, but each connected at the same time, and they both just went back. And the ref counted them out at 10. Neither could get to their feet. We got a draw in this. Maika and Himeka both finishing with 15 points.
So crazy. Such a crazy match. I was honestly not expecting another draw in this tournament, but man,
no.
Was I happy with it?
because if either one of these women had won, Tom was okay because she had the tiebreaker over them. So,
but this ending, it makes them both again look hella strong, hella tough ladies. You know, these girls are former Goddess of Stardom champions. You can obviously see why.
So I just looked at the standing from after the night 20. If say had Maika won this match and then Syuri won her match, if all that had come together with Tom winning hers, each one had a victory over another, there would have been a 3-way tie.
Oh God!
So it's these wins and losses mean everything in these tournaments, man. Like they mean so much. Like. One little loss, you made a mistake one night, could cost you in the end. Could cost you again if you're going up against, like, you're pointing against that person. It's insanity. But yeah, but again, wonderful, hard hitting, just brutal match from both women, and again, both finishing with 15 points. I can't say enough good things, but we're gonna go on to what was the final match in the Red Stars block. This match will determine who goes on to the final match in the main event of the night. Will it be Syuri? If Syuri gets the win here, she has 16 points and has the tiebreaker victory over Tam Nakano. If Risa Sera is able to defeat Syuri or take her to a draw, you then have Tam Nakano alone in first with 16 points, and she takes the tournament or takes the Red Star block of the tournament. So, like, you want to break this one down for us, Mel?
I mean, this one was one where it was like, it's do or die, especially for Sarah Risa. For her, I noticed, I don't know if you did also, her entrance. I always watch their intros. I always like to see if they have new gear or new stuff or new music or whatever. Usually she's very slow. She's very precise. She comes in, she does the face cover, she walks in. Very authoritative this time when she came in. She came in rather quickly. She posed as usual, but she was moving with quite intensity. She was moving with urgency. She knew how important this match was. But again, so did Syuri. Syuri coming in.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that that Syuri could go to win this tournament. It's the fact that Risa Sera picking up a win in this possibly can get her a title shot. That is the biggest part of it. It's a possible title shot if she beats the champion.
Exactly.
So, that's the biggest thing you see with the G1 every year. When you see that people lose to the champion, they usually get a shot down the road at a future show before January 4th. So, like,
and with Risa Sera, she is I believe the leader of Prominence. You know, definitely coming in as your first tournament, you want to show up and show out as the leader of your tournament, especially when you got your stablemate in Suzuki, who's
having an impressive tournament.
Yeah, wrecking as much shit as you are. This match was exactly what I expected, especially out of Syuri. She was kicking like crazy. We were seeing that power out of Syuri, but we were also seeing that power along with that sense of urgency in Sera Risa. Very, very meticulous in this match. She's always meticulous, but she does have those moments almost like Suzu where she almost relishes in what it is that she's doing.
Yeah.
She did not have those in this match, not nearly as much. She did have a few moments where she was like, nah.
Well, even if you go back to the Suzuki match, she didn't relish in it as much either because she was in an urgency to try to win that tournament. Risa Sera doesn't have the urgency to win the tournament here, but she has the urgency to get a title shot.
Exactly.
Like, what everybody was fighting in this tournament for, anyways. Oops. Knocked my FT bottle over, but like there was an urgency because she could have a title shot before whoever wins this gets there.
Exactly. I had such a good time with this match. I felt that it was, if you really wanted to get almost like sort of a little bit of a taste of what a potential world championship match could be like, this was the match that you want to watch. This is a feeler before you get into the intensity that is Stardom wrestling. In the end, though, Sera Risa doing exactly what she set out to do, picking up a win over Syuri. And again, Syuri has been taking quite a few losses in this tournament. I personally would love, I'm looking forward to this match the most out of all of them, just to see what it is that Risa Sera can actually put Syuri through in a title kind of situation.
Yeah, it's and this win kind of came out of nowhere because Syuri had an armbar, then transitioned into like just a really weird hold. And Risa Sera just kind of flipped her and slammed her down. And it wasn't even like, she just kind of like went and got the pin.
Yeah.
Like, it was an out of nowhere win, but like there were so many good spots. Like Risa Sera, I love that she uses the cradle shock, made famous by Motor City Machine. Can I say his name now? Pardon?
Is it Shelley or Sabin?
No, Chris Sabin used that as his finisher, has still uses it to this day. But I love that she uses the cradle shock. But like, just like Syuri at one point hops up, grabs a Kimura, pulls her down, and then transitions it into a triangle choke. Like, just the striking in this match was bar none amazing. But like, and there was another spot where it was like Syuri hit the German, Then Risa got up, hit an air raid crash, and then Syuri gets right back up and hits a super kick, and then Risa gets right back up and hits a Samoan drop. Like, it was just crazy. Like, but it just I am thoroughly impressed by Risa Sera, who had a wonderful tournament. I apologize about not putting the point totals up, but Syuri had 14, Risa had 13. And Risa Sera ending this actually outpointing the champion. That's the biggest thing. She outpointed the champion in this. Yeah. So I'm going to go down the list again. You have Tam Nakano, officially the winner of the Red Star block with 16 points. Then you have Himeka, Maika, and Risa Sera with 15 points. It means Risa Sera ties her stablemate Suzuki for points in this tournament. And then right behind them is Azumi, Utami Hayashishita, Koguma, and Syuri with 14 points. Koguma being in that mix is huge for her, in my opinion. I think that just brought her right up to that level. I think at minimum white belt, if not being in contention for that red belt. And then at 12, Saki Kashima, again, great place to be for her because, again, 12 points is a really good showing. Again, some of them were cheap wins, but great position to be. And then Mai Sakurai with 9, and then Momo Kohgo and Unagi Sayaka with 4. And it actually shows Unagi Sayaka down at the of the block completely. Even though she had the win over Kohgo, in my opinion, technically should be ahead of her. Yeah. But again, this may also be the alphabetical, might be that too. Okay, but it's a heck of a tournament and what both those blocks produced, right? Like you really have to really be impressed by every single woman that worked in this tournament and to see what they put together. And I gotta be really impressed by whoever is booking this company to do what they did to end up with that big of a list of people that could potentially win on a night. The only thing close that came close was, I think, the D block and the potential that there might have been the 7-way tie in the D block at the G1 this year. That all came down to the final night, but no, I just looked at it and I went, wow. I was just impressed by all these women. But we still have one more match.
Main event of the evening.
It's a huge match. And I forgot to put the little banner in, so give me one. I'm just adding the wording here. Dun, dun, dun.
The finals obviously being the Red Star winner there, Tam Nakano, and the Blue Star winner, Giulia.
Got it right here. Tam Nakano taking on Giulia. This is I thought Hazumi was coming out of the Blue Stars block. I really did. And I honestly, like we have said multiple times, we had no idea who was coming out of Red Stars because it was such a close block the entire way. I am very happy to see it come down the way it is. I'm a huge fan of Tam Nakano, and she's going after this to get her shot at her first ever red belt. To go after, again, not her first shot ever, but to get the chance to go into the December 29th show to take a shot at getting the red belt for the first time. And Giulia in this, I think for her, it's a very personal factor getting into it being in this match, because who's the red belt champion? Who's the World of Stardom champion? Her ex-tag team partner in Syuri, who abandoned her and left and created God's Eye. So there's a lot here to unpack in what these two women are doing, along with a 20-some minute match that these two women killed it in. That too. I can't do it justice by breaking down the match itself, because it was just, again, like I said, I think it was, which I can't remember what match I was saying that would have been match of the night if it wasn't
Julia match.
the Giulia Suzuki match. But this was I think, the epitome of everything we've wanted to watch in this we've been watching in the tournament, all culminate in such a perfect match. And and bias, perfect winner.
Yeah.
In Giulia.
Giulia's
I think
been having a rough go of it, huh?
She was very up and down through the tournament. She had losses early, then some wins, then some losses, but came back and really rallied through fighting Suzuki and then taking it. Like, the thing that impresses me most is, like, you watch the G1, their final tournament matches are one night, and then the semifinals were the next night, and then the finals were another night. These girls worked their final matches of the tournament and then come back at the end to wrestle again. Imagine if Syuri had won. She would have went back to back.
Yeah, that's very true.
So you really have to look at it and, like, what these girls do. Like, they each had pretty hard-hitting matches. Like, Giulia went 15 minutes and Tom went, I think, like 9 or 10, but it was a pretty rough match.
Yeah.
And then they come back here to go over 20 minutes and both women just smack. Like, I have to give it up. There was one point where each one was just smacking each other across the face. Like, holy crap.
There's actually one moment like that where I actually was like, they just had a Zohan moment where they were both kneeling on the ground and they were kind of like very, very close to each other. And then, like, just the camera was focusing more on their faces. And then suddenly there's Tam's foot going across Giulia's face.
Where they were sitting, and then Tam just started kicking, and then Giulia caught the leg at one point.
Yeah, at the very end.
So Tom's trying to fight, and she just starts kicking with her other leg Giulia in the face, but then Giulia just tweaks the leg even harder. And like, dude, that was a very impressive. So I saw Tom do that one other time in this tournament. She was on the ground and somebody was sitting in front of me. She started kicking her in the face.
Yeah,
but, like, dude,
it was very much a Zohan moment for me. There, it was like, was that your foot?
Yeah,
with your foot. It was really funny for me. But yeah, as I had mentioned earlier, with Giulia also having a bit of a rough go of it, not just in regards to the tournament, but also in regards to kind of like the personal business of the Stardom factions. Her and Sohrei were tag team champions, and right about the time that Thekla and Mirai came in, I think they only wrestled 2 weeks with Donna Del Mondo before Syuri and Mirai jumped ship to form God's Eye with Ami Sohrei. And then shortly after, we saw Natsupoi also abandon Donna Del Mondo to join Cosmic Angels. So this main event and this night in general was probably a very, very emotional,
literally a crowning moment. Literally a crowning moment.
Crowning moment for the end.
The end of this match was insane. Like, you had essentially an Tangaloa's Ape Shit by Tam, only gets a 1. And then Falcon Arrow by Giulia, barely a 2. Then a knee to the face by Giulia, and her hammerlock Ape Shit style move for 2. And, like, it still can't put her away. And then she picks her up and just drops her with a modified Brainbuster. It looked like a modified Falcon Arrow Brainbuster style move. Like, she was a Falcon Arrow to the side, so it was almost like a Brainbuster.
So too, yeah.
And takes the win, and you could just see the look of relief wash across Giulia's face when she got that win. Like, absolutely wonderful. Like, and then the after-match part was what was really messing with me. And then actually they showed Mina Shirakawa. She was on commentary for the main event too. So, and then so she was handed a big ass check or something, and then
the publisher's clearing check.
I don't know what it was. And then she went she left for the back, and then like a minute or 2 later, Tam Nakano and a bunch of other people walk out, and then Giulia comes back out with them, after them, and they all were given trophies, and then obviously Giulia was given her crown and her cape, and just like a wonderful moment for her. But one of the parts that really tugged at my heartstrings was after they got their trophies and everything, Tam walks out, and like I said, with a couple her matches on was it night 18 and 19, and her losses there, and then her happiness when she won earlier on in the night, and she walks out just like the most dejected look I've ever seen on somebody's face leaving a professional wrestling match. She looked like somebody just pulled the heart out of her chest. Like she looked like, I don't know how to describe it. She looked like somebody defeated. Just like, yeah, it made me like honestly sad when Tom had had that look on her face. I was honestly sad for her because I thought she had such a Cinderella moment after those two losses on night 18 and 19 to come back and get that win on night 21. It was just like heartbreaking for the girl. But then I was so happy to see Giulia win because this gives her, and again, I very much expect Syuri to defend this title successfully because I am almost sure that come December 29th, I will be watching the show as soon as I can get my hands on it. I really hope there's a live stream for people outside of Japan. Please, Stardom, let me watch it. I will stay. I will get up. I will watch it at 1 a.m. I don't care what time it is. I want to watch it live. Please give me the ability over here in North America to watch live.
We've got our Rogue Energy drinks. We can do it.
We can do it. Rogue Energy. Check it out, please. RogueEnergy.com. Soon to be sponsors of this show, hopefully.
We will start running sponsorships for them probably very soon. Very soon.
But you gotta like really be impressed in what's coming for Giulia. The fact that she's going to get that not revenge, but you know what I mean. She gets that ability to really stand across the ring from Syuri and really hash out what the hell happened. Like, and I look forward to that match because like as much as Risa Sera is awesome, and who's the other ones? I can't remember who's the other ones that beat
Maika and Himeka.
That beat Syuri. Syuri lost.
That beat Syuri. Oh.
Syuri actually lost to Koguma.
Yeah.
Koguma. Tommy Hayashishita. She lost to Maika. And she lost to Saki Kashima. Okay. I didn't realize she lost to her either.
Oh, yeah. She tricked her, remember? She tricked her.
Oh, yeah. But, like, out of all of those women, like, honestly, I don't see more than maybe one or two title defenses. I'm thinking one. Like, I'm going off of my New Japan of it all. And again, their show is before the January 4th show. So they got an even shorter time in between. So I really only think there's and then there's, I think, the tag league for them too. I don't know if that's before or after the December 29th show. But like you have like Syuri's, like I don't see Koguma challenging.
No.
I as much as I don't, Maika's not going to challenge. I doubt it. Saki Kashima, probably not, being that she's going to be tied up with her Oedo Tai artist titles thing. And then you have Utami Hayashishita and Risa Sera as the other two people that beat Syuri in this tournament. So you really got to look at the fact who would be the best challengers is Hayashishita, but she has this going on coming up, right? So that's why I think at some point between now and December 29th, Risa Sera is going to challenge for the championship, having gotten the win. But the story for December 29th is the former tag team partners facing off for the red belt. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, truly believe that Syuri will be the champion come December 29th, even though she will have a banger of a match with Risa Sera if it happens.
Yeah. I hope it does. I really hope it does. Someone get Andre booking on Stardom.
Come on. Call me up. Come on, Stardom. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Literally, you can just take what I just said. I just send me some money. Come on, pay me.
Just send us subscribers.
Yeah, there you go. Even better. Yeah.
That being said, it sounds like we have finally come to the end of the 5-star Grand Prix Tournament. But that doesn't mean the end of Andre and Melball. We are still going to be yapping your ears off every week or other week, depending on how many shows there are. Yes,
there's lots more Stardom. They are having at least 2 to 3 shows per week. Again, we watch them whenever they'll make them available to us, but I will watch the crap out of any of them.
So that being said, if you are interested in watching Stardom, you can go to their website, www.stardom-world.com. The cost is about 920 yen. I pay about $10 here in Canada. It's totally worth the cost for watching some good wrestling. And you do get some access to some of the older matches and some exclusive stuff on their website as well. So you want to go check that out.
Yeah, and everything's classified very well by year on their site. So it's just, if you, depending on what year you want to watch, it's very easy to find. And you are probably hopefully watching us right here on YouTube at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also check out our other channel, Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk Shorts. Don't forget about that, because we break all of our videos are broken down over there. But you also hopefully might be checking us out right here on Backbreaker Media. Our good buddy, run by our good buddy Mike the Ref, who you can watch him on Twitch every Wednesday for his AEW Dynamite sidecast, and multiple other times of the week playing awesome video games and just having a good time with his friends. And wonderful gentlemen, thank you so much for supporting us with everything you're doing, Mike. We really appreciate it. You can check us out on Twitter at Collins Melball, and at That Canada Guy on Instagram at Melball Collins, and at That Canada Dude. Coming up on October 28th, I will be running solo unless I find another tag team partner for the night, because Mel is going to be at the Real Canadian Wrestling Show watching the wonderful Gabriel Lestat taking on Raiden the Destroyer in a casket match.
And blah, blah, blah.
I will be actually doing a watch-along for the Rumble on 44th Street taking place in New York City from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if you want to join me on our Twitch page, Andre and Mel Ball, you can check me out then. It will be starting roughly around 5:30. I'm not sure. Check my socials. I will be sharing out exactly what time that's all going to start at. So please, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And check everything out. Yeah.
Yeah, and just so you guys are aware, we will be filming some more episodes for next week of Chop Talk, where we're going to be having a special guest, a local super fan, on to talk about some memories of wrestling and how he got into watching wrestling. And we're also going to be breaking down our show that we saw last night, the Top Talent Wrestling Academy show that featured Charlie Haas and
the magnificent Mitch Clark.
Magnificent Mitch Clark and a pumpkin. You don't want to miss out what we got to say about that.
And a dark Sheik.
And a dark Sheik with a pumpkin.
Yep.
You don't want to miss out on that. So that being said, we have come to the conclusion of the Stardom review here. I am your Melball. Shout out to Astrid. That is your Andre. We will catch you next time. Adios.